Yeah, I got you there.
You want to jump straight in?
Yeah, fucking oath, brother.
Awesome.
Happy days.
Thanks for doing this, brother.
Thanks for having me, dude.
So just what we're talking about, having coffee.
Yeah.
Tell me about next year. What are the plans?
Oh, I don't know. Next year just feels massive.
Yeah.
In many ways. It's I'm one of those people that don't live by an agenda, but kind of have one, and live by a bit of a plan. And it just feels like next year many things are shaping up in a good way to my life, in a personal way and in a relationship way, and also in a career sense. Yeah.
I was just going to say, how did everything go with the act, and like, what are the plans next year with it? Like, obviously, share as much as you can, but
The act was awesome. It really was. We concepted it here. It was in this fucking room back in March, and it went really well. We just wanted to just create a new venture, a new space that's redefined for the Australian arts industry and the music scene, but also for us here locally. You know yourself, there's a bunch of legends we work with that's local to Newey, and we're all mates. We all love what we do. We're all passionate. And what better way to concept some epic little thing that we can all collaborate on and all work together on a couple of times a year and just know that it's giving back to the industry. So that's what we did. And we held our first showcase on the 25th of October with Alex Astronaut, Dadiri, Hayne, Ben Morgan and Miller Roberts. And it was just awesome. We sold it out and kind of ran it like a pilot episode. Imagine you got a series and a pilot. You were there. Big Currie was there. It was epic. And we really just needed to do it to show people what the fuck we're about and what we can do. Even in our personal relationship, we always talk about like, we're there, we just need the hand.
Yeah.
But fuck waiting on the hand.
Yeah.
Like, and by the hand, I mean, the hand is that you just need someone, I'm already there to make that film. I just need someone to come pick me up and do it. It's like, fuck that. Let's just do it ourselves.
We would still be waiting to do a first film.
What's that?
We'd still be waiting to do a first film if that was the case.
Definitely. I'm a mad believer in, I never studied. I never, I do believe in studying because it networks you in that, but it blows my mind, people that come out of uni and TAFE and stuff like that and just think it's going to happen. It don't happen. And not even just in our industry. It don't happen that's not life, bro. You've got to go chase and don't wait for the man, be the man.
Yeah.
Or be it. Be them. Be whatever you want to be, but, essentially don't wait for it. Go create that hand yourself, and if you're waiting for feed-outs, you're just going to be like the rest of the pack of dogs. Be the shepherd, not the sheep.
Yeah, and I guess it depends on what everyone wants to do, but no one's going to, like, come down and be like, I'm going to give you this on a silver platter. We're in a world where if they can do that, why wouldn't they just do it for themselves? Bang
on, bro. And it also takes to, like, it took the act for me to realise, I think, that these things can happen, and it's not ego, it's confidence. These things can happen, but they haven't happened. And it takes someone with passion and drive and confidence to get things off the ground and running, just like you have with your films. You've gotten them off the ground independent. You didn't wait for support. You just went and did it yourself. And it takes one person sometimes to take a risk for everyone to benefit. That's the shepherd, really.
Yeah. So the first one was awesome. Absolutely smashed it.
Yep.
The feedback, because I walked around that night and was chatting to people in the crowd, and what do you think? And just be honest, tell me. Everyone was loving it. Everyone absolutely loved it. They said it's so intimate. I've never experienced anything like this. Awesome. What are your goals now moving forward with it?
Goals moving forward are just to sustain it, keep it here. We had 22 industry professionals volunteer their time, which is epic, but they can't keep volunteering their time. We need to give back. It's a no for profit. We give all the tickets back to the artist.
Can you talk about that? Because like festivals don't do that.
Yeah. So the act is established to, redefine and revitalise culture and that, yes, like that. But it's also established to support the scene. And how it supports the scene is you as an artist, you come play at the act. 100% of those tickets go back into that artist roster. So if there's one artist, 100% of those tickets go back to one, and if there's four, it's split between the four. Additional to that, the recording asset that we capture and create, that's handed back to the artists and teams themselves, and that's a $15,000 asset that money can't buy. And we give that back to the artists for them to utilise and showcase and use. So it's there to provide a unique stage. It's a one-off show that an artist doesn't have to market. It's sold out to a room of 250 to 500 people. It's locally in Newcastle. whatever you as the artist, you come to that room and you come to that space, whatever you make, you take. And we're just here to foster it and join in with you and look around at our peers and our local community and think, fuck yeah, on your Newcastle.
Yeah.
So yeah, the plans moving forward, I guess, are to sustain that. And how we sustain that is we need to go for funding and applications and models. And by getting funding, that allows us to create 22 to 25 jobs locally, niche each time. That allows us to pay back the crews. That allows us to keep that model and format running of no profit, and everything goes back to the arts. And without giving too much away, we've got such a loose interest of fucking, oh shit, hit my head, but fucking crazy artists. People that I love and personally am connected with, but also people that I just know Newcastle needs to see and be a part of.
Do you think people are just hearing about it because it is new? It is changing how it is. Like you see these like especially like management with people on their roster, putting them in these festivals, and there's thousands and thousands of tickets sold, and the actual percent they're getting of that is so tiny that it's just opening up to such bigger names because of that. It's unheard of.
Yeah, and it's real. It's stripping it back and it's allowing you to connect, and it's doing it for the right reasons. And I think it's just getting people are hearing about it because, yeah, it is different. And it was a hard sell. It was a weird sell to some managers and booking agents of like, wait, so you're telling me my artist is going to come, you're going to pay all the overheads, you're going to take everything, you're giving them the asset. What the fuck are you doing this for? It's like, why not? We're doing it because we love it and we need to. So yeah, I think that's why it's so engaged. And chatting with the artists that come and played on the first one, they're just, everyone's living off that high in the room. No one's seen the recording. Like, fucking loose. Those recordings are wild.
Even just when you're coming in the phones, putting the sticks on the phone, I thought that was a great idea.
That was a way to unify people and just connect. Like, let's just get off the devices for one moment in time and let's just all enjoy this moment in time together. Don't stress. We're fucking recording it. We can relive it.
Yeah.
And I was really big on, like, having it as you had to be there moment. Like, Jye goes to the act. I didn't go. I see you on Monday. How was it? And you're like, fuck, you had to be there. I didn't have my phone. I couldn't take anything. You just had to be there. And it was just epic. And you look at the recordings too and you hear the feedback from artists and audience. Everyone was just so connected. And that's art. Like, you connect through art, film, galleries, everything. That's the best way. And that's not just some fucking hoo-ha shit of me just being a quirky thing. That's just honesty. Of like, I've never felt deeper connections than in a creative space where people are just focused and connected.
Yeah, you could feel it. You could really feel it on the night.
Fuck yeah, I was manic, dude. I was Red Bull deep. I was ready to go. I was loving it. But I also had a moment where some of those artists are my favourite artists as well.
I'll watch you go sit down at the end and watch
I just had to take it in. And I do remember you being back there and you were like, just take your headphones off. Just go sit down and just enjoy it. And I was like, you reckon? And you're like, yeah. And in that moment there, the reason why I did was I was like, he's fucking right. Like, I want to go experience this and come back to it in that way and just be like, fuck. Like, I got to, I don't even know what I was getting at with that, but like, I just stripped it back. I went and sat on my ass on the floor right at the front. I don't even think I blinked. And it was during Dadiri's set and I was just fixated and amazed and I got to feel what everyone else got to feel, I guess. And that allows me to, all of us, to move forward in knowing that what we're providing, you know, we can comment on it because we felt it as well.
It's one of the things I felt like, kind of like a wedding. Like, people put so much preparation into it. They've thought about this. They've dreamt about it for so long. That day comes and goes so quickly. And it's like, for you, I was like, you've put so much effort and hard work and you've just been in it the whole night. It's like, now take a second for you to just experience it, remember it, and be present.
Yeah,
and sit with it.
I never smell the roses, which is a fucked thing. Like, sometimes I just move so quick in life that I just never. Weird, I'm getting emotional about this, but like, yeah, I just never stopped to smell the roses, and that was part of me smelling the roses, I guess. Like, I'd just always move on to the next thing, or that's not even in a career sense. That's with anything in life, like the way I move on. And it's probably not the best way, and that's one thing the promise taught me. Yeah. Is don't move on. Acknowledge it and deal with it. And no matter what that is in life, that's how you move on. And how I have always moved is I never smell the roses, even if it's a successful thing. I just move straight on to the next thing. And yourself that night and people all around the act and all that crew who are our friends and that all told me just to fucking shut up and stop for a week and just enjoy what was created. And I did.
Yeah.
I was crook as a dog, but I fucking loved it.
What drives you with your films, with the act, with everything? Because, like, I know when we're filming, you've just got this energy from wake up to sleep. And, like, when we're on tour in central Queensland and we were sharing a room together and we were doing data all night, we barely sleep and get up, the energy's just there 24/7. Do you think there's something underlying driving all that?
Without a medical diagnosis, I don't know about that part. You know, I'm always heightened in that, but I vibe off people and I feed off that energy. And when I'm passionate about something and I can feel it in my fucking core, I just give everything that 100%. And sometimes it is going to benefit me because I just shut everything else out in my life and I just give it my all. But my drive's just passion and love for doing it. And I love the people I get to work with. I know for a fact there are so many more people out there that are better than me with behind a camera, but it's about who you are to work with too.
Oh, big time.
And that's what I vibe off. Like, yeah, but and that's, I guess that was a big drive for me as well during things like The Promise and that. But in my whole life, I've just got a drive to do something different and enjoy while I do it and not really do it for anyone else. Yes, do it for me, but I am also about doing it for other people. Yes, like I talk about a hand, but I'd love to be the hand to help other people pick up and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I've just got a drive that's just passionate and love. And I believe if you're talented and you're fucking passionate and you're a good cunt, you'll take over the world, literally.
Do you reflect a lot on that stuff? Like, do you set out goals? Like, I know I'm always like, this year I want to do this film or write a script, or I'm doing, like, I've got my short-term goals, my like longer ones, and it helps me like just get up day to day because I'll be working on stuff for a month and it feels like I'm not getting anywhere, but all them little things like dominoes build into like, oh, now we get to go film, or now we get to do this. Do you reflect on that stuff much?
Yeah, I do. I used to a lot more when I was younger, and I think that's because I just didn't have so much going on in my life. I just had a time to pre-plan and do things, but now things are so abrupt and I'm just, again, it's my fault, but I just move through things so quick. I do set goals and I try to achieve to those goals, but they sometimes go off the track. But when I do come to a year, for example, like next year or years moving forward and stuff like that, I do come in with a mindset. I do come in with a sense of what I want to achieve. And sometimes I finish the year and I'm fucking bummed about not having a good year. Like, I kind of, like, literally last week had a bit of a fucking moment. I was like, this year's been shit. Didn't fucking make a feature. We didn't do this, didn't do that. But after I smelt the roses, like, holy shit, it's been a hectic year. But I guess to answer your question, yes and no. I'm quite spontaneous and I go on tangents, but I also am organised. Like,
you get shit done.
I get shit done. Fucking, that's the only way to do it, bro. Like, I lie in bed, boom, I'm awake, cunt, and if I'm thinking about numbers, I'm typing them in the computer because why not? Like, what else am I going to do? Like, and I'm a mad believer too, like, if you're bored in life, you must have a fucking pretty sweet life and nothing's going on. You're not fucking stressed or anything. You don't have heaps of work going on. It's pretty cool to be bored. It means there's nothing else happening. That's
I feel like it's rare. It's rare now.
Mad rare.
There's so much going on just with like...
Life's hard too, bro. Yeah. It's hectic for everyone. It is. It's wild. And I also had like... I mean, I've had a lot of health issues too over the last few years, and that's been a massive, massive part of my life. Trying to juggle a career that's as demanding as this. I'm also across too much at times. Like, I work in corporate, long form music, tours, like fucking too much, and at the same time trying to juggle health and stuff like that. So yeah, I guess rounding out, I do have a plan for next year, and part of that's focusing on a career and being grounded locally and internationally and building connections with my friends and family again, but also focusing on my health. So I've lost a fucking heap of weight and I'm going to pack the dog on.
Yeah. How you feeling with all that?
Yeah, it's been a bit of, I'm just not disciplined with it, and it's finally fucking caught up to me. I'm disciplined with everything else in my life, but not this, and I just didn't take it serious, and I just got pretty sick for a while. And
Do you think being on set's a big part of that? Because like, it's so hard to eat properly and sleep properly.
Fucking dude, we're on the deep fried diet when we were touring for the Promise. Remember,
It's
we're
crazy.
just fucking eating deep fried, fucking this, deep fried, that, deep fried. And when you're in those little towns, bro, and you walk up to a town of 100 people, can I have a soy-free, gluten-free this? They just look at you and go, what the fuck? Eat the hot dog.
It's different when we're here doing interviews and we've got food being catered to us, but
Definitely.
like that's not like docos. It's not. That's not every day.
No.
Especially when we go to Africa.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that going to look like?
Rice, beans,
Yeah.
fuck knows.
The last time I was in Africa, not last time, the first time I went was in Kenya, and we're in the middle of nowhere, and we sat down at this the best restaurant in town, and it's like a little brick mud house. We're sitting out the front on like plastic chairs, and what do you want? And I said, what do you have? And they're like, chicken. I said, I'll have chicken. And they go at the back, and I'm just sitting there completely just not even thinking about it. And the guy I was with, his name's Joel, he goes, where do you think I get chickens from? Like, he was already clued onto it. I'm just sitting there just going, what? And he goes, they're out the back.
Killing the
They walk straight out, kill them, serve it up for you. That's the way of life there. He's like, there's no KFC, there's no trucks, there's
That's
no...
how the Colonel said.
The infrastructure's not there for it. Where we were, there weren't even roads. Like, we had to drive along dirt roads for hours to get to that
Fucking loose.
place. Yeah, so...
That's hectic. Fuck.
It's going to be wild. And where we're filming, so we fly into the capital, film, and then we fly to another smaller town, which is going to be like an internal flight. And then from there, we've got to drive through the Sahara to kind of like the south of the desert where the arenas and stuff are. So I don't know what that's going to look
I'm
like.
going to be eating dirt and fucking air and maybe farts. That's it in a car. But it will be wild, dude. And they're all parts that we take into our career that people don't understand the complexities of making films like that. It's not just fucking hanging out in Yuhan and swinging a camera and thing. Promise changed my life. It changed a lot of people's lives, and it wasn't easy to make.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the technicality of it. It just wasn't easy to make.
Emotionally, like we're sitting in rooms with people just opening up, talking about suicide, talking about the people that they've lost in just such a raw, real, vulnerable setting.
Massive.
Them conversations might happen with your closest people. A lot of the times they still don't. And then to someone to sit there and do it in front of camera and create that, you'd feel it every time. We'd start talking and you'd just feel this like bubble come around us and it would all just hone into that moment.
Massive. Yeah.
And you'd just be sitting on every word that they were saying.
Totally. We created some really unique spaces that haven't been created in Australia before. I'm not even talking about the finished film. I'm talking about the process of making it. We gave people a space to talk, and I guarantee you a few people we spoke to had never really shined a light like they shine the light to us. And that's
Definitely not.
That's part of also who we are and how we are to work with, but it's also part of a space that you fostered and nurtured, yes. But yeah, it is. It's trust. It's everything, and that's why I do it. I love it, and that's the best part is that not everyone sees it. They just see the finished product and they see the end of it, but it's the real fucking experience. It's the life-changing experiences. It's the things you take to your deathbed, and it's making films that are making an impact, yes, but everything I attach to too, I need to be invested in it in a way where like I believe in it, and I hope it's going to change my life.
I think everyone should. Just every creative should really be looking at it like that. I know we've all got to pay bills and do like live, but you really got to weigh up, would I do this project if there wasn't a paycheck at the end? Because like them sleepless nights, the emotional stress on your body, especially when you're doing something like a heavy topic like that, you need to be doing it for the story, for the film.
Bang on. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. And it did, dude. I say it all the time. It changed my life. I was there fucking asking questions to people we were interviewing, but blending them in.
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
oh, so my mate has a sore toe. What happens when you don't deal with the sore toe? And then they're telling me that I'm just getting my sessions there and there, brother.
Yeah.
That's epic.
Yeah. I remember even just asking Craig like questions. I'd be like, so what about this? And I'm like, I know we've all just talked about this in our car driving there, and then he'd be in a different car with Scott, and then they'd get out and I'd be asking questions and getting them answers.
But also, I was actually chatting to someone about this like this week, I think it was, and making that film too, like driving through, like fucking hell, we would wake up in Queensland, do a curry gym sesh sometimes. I don't fucking work out. Look at me, Smeagol in the gym. Yoo! And we'd do it, do that. We'd drive sometimes 4 or 5 hours, shoot right up and through the night, and then drive back. Mango and Clint are fucking snoozing in the back, and we're pumping midnight oil. It's dirt roads. I remember one time.
Do you remember that one in night, and the roads were like, it was cutting just to the centre?
And it was fucking, I remember one
time.
There
was no street lights, nothing.
There was a dirt road, and we were going like 40 Ks because I was worried about hitting fucking wombats, and we're in the fucking parents' fucking vehicle through the dealership, and I was like, I don't want to take the guts out of this vehicle. Where I was getting at, though, is like, yeah, we spoke about other things and stuff, but a lot of our conversations too were like on the way to Dubbo that time, me and you and Clint pulled in at the pub at Singleton, and we spoke the whole night about our own mental health.
Yeah.
And like that is what changes the life. It was crazy. It just changed my life so immensely, and everyone suffers mental health in some way or knows someone in some capacity, and I've known people in my life that have, and it just it gave me heaps of pointers, and it fucking changed my life, and it also made me recognize my own shit.
But even but there's a ripple effect, because even like when we were talking about our own mental health, we were also talking about relationships and events in our life and everything, weren't we? Well, it was really just going out to all. We were just so much to like decode and really just pull out, and
because weirdly enough. Though I don't know why too, but whenever me and you have done a project together, there's just been something connectively happening massive in our lives. I won't go there, but like Beat, we were both going through wild shit.
Yeah.
And I remember being out on set at Beat, chewing chewy, and fucking you coming out, and there's just shit going on, and that's the part of it. You create a family, and it, I don't know, it just feels like every time in my life I have a big project coming up, something happens, and it's always happening through the mist of the project, and fucking Promise broke me down, and it brought me straight back up.
It's almost like you're working out your own personal stuff through the film.
Fuck yeah. Definitely are. 100%. Definitely. That's the best part about it, is that, and that's what people don't understand, and they don't need to understand, and that aren't in it. I mean, that aren't in industry and space, is that's the cool things we get to take and keep for ourselves. They just see a finished product on a screen. Yeah. We get the experience.
But there's also so much hard work and stuff, and this is the big thing. So with the African doc that I'm really going to push and like make sure it's in all the press and like campaign it, is we see these like fiction films, and like I love them. We're going to be doing one next year, but these documentaries, especially the one that we're doing, we're going to a part of the world that's, it's very unpredictable. We don't know we've got military escorting us around, but still I don't know if that's going to make us a target or not. So safety wise, there's all these things that go into it. So you've got your life on your line. So we're going into this massive project, risking our lives to tell this story. That's just such a massive thing on its own. And people don't talk about that side of it. They talk about like, oh, I'm going to sit here and I can take 10 takes if I want. If they want 100 takes, we can do 100 takes. We're working with professionals. It's a safe environment. We're not worried about any external thing happening in our environment. With a documentary, that's not the case. If you miss it, you miss it. You need the skill of being able to get it in that moment with all your safety on the line. There's just this whole other layer of depth to making that documentary that people don't know.
And people aren't. There's a lot of people out there too that aren't. And I'm not stroking my own feathers here because I'm not equipped at times. But there's a lot of people that do good work, but they're just not capable in those scenarios. Everyone can do good work when you got fucking 3 weeks to think about that fucking shot.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of operators and things you see out, and it's like, fuck, I thought they do good stuff. And it's like, yeah, they do, because what you're seeing is all their pre-planned shit. It's nothing they're doing on the fly and creating on the fly and just making shit happen to tell a story. And again, I'm not talking about my own work. I'm just talking about what I see.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just comparing fiction to doco again.
Yeah.
You're working with art directors.
Massive.
So they come through and make sure the whole environment looks great, to the point where there's a mark on the wall, they'll cover it up. In a documentary, you don't even get to see the place sometimes
Right.
before you get there. You walk in and you film it. It's just unfolding. You're documenting a moment.
We kind of operated beat in that way though.
Yeah, we did.
We like, I would say 80% of beat was feeling. Like you had a plan, you knew it, but we operated like 1 or 2 days with shot lists, then we started to throw them out and just feel it on the space.
Yeah.
Yes, that maybe disaffects the post-production because you're like, fuck, I need a coverage here and here and here. But it was a unique way to work.
Yeah.
It was the best way to work. And it allows you to think on the space and stuff. That doesn't say we didn't have mounts and lengthful conversations about how things look and what we want to do and stuff. That all happened outside that people don't see.
Yep.
You get too many cooks in the kitchen and everyone tries to not understand what's happened. It's like, why are you pointing it there? We're pointing it there because we actually spent the last 6 months talking about this shot because you don't realize it actually connects to the next shot. So just help us out with the sandbag.
Yeah.
And that's not me being rude. That's me being honest.
Yeah.
And everyone's only ever giving their input because they're so invested and passionate. And everyone understands that. But hierarchy can be important in ways. And the way I think it's important in ways is it just stops wasted time on set on the day when those conversations have already been had. They don't need to be happening again. I know you're coming from the heart and I know you're understanding, but it needs to be read because it's a dark scene and the next one they're talking about something else, so it's just going to link. So please just go with us.
And that's just the thing with independent films is we don't have the time because a lot of the time we don't have the budget to buy 3 more days shooting. We don't have the time to be standing here having these conversations and going so far. We know what we're going to do. We've got to stick to the plan.
No, bang on. Definitely. Yeah.
Like a lot of the places we filmed, we didn't even get to look at before filming. We rocked up and we're like, oh, the lights are yellow.
Yeah.
Like we had no idea.
And mind you, we're in those locations for sometimes 4 or 5 hours. We're not there for whole days.
No, there was 2-3 days. We changed 3-4 locations.
Yeah.
Bumping in, bumping out.
Massive. And also utilising, taking cameras from stabilising systems to handheld to on sticks, doing massive shots in theatres that maybe productions would literally spend 12 hours perfecting that shot.
They've bumped in the day before.
Yeah, definitely. We've all gone in there. And that doesn't speak to one individual. That speaks to a team. That speaks to the cast, the director. Everyone's there understanding the goals. And I still look back on like some of the – I think I've still got one raw shot of the dolly, like when we walked out the Ronin and the lead Alex walks out and sits down and plays the piano. It is wild to do a shot like that. And I've got it videoed through my phone on a monitor. And it is just insane because when you look at it and you go, I remember on the day just walking back and looking at the crews and going, holy fuck, we just did that. I know we had to cut it up in the film. Like it doesn't go that whole way. But fucking that's the type of shit that's crazy. It's independent. There was a lot of greenies on that film that had never been on a
Almost
set before.
everyone.
Literally.
Almost everyone, that was their first set. It was my first set.
Yeah. So no, yeah, it was, but like you'd still been in involvement on commercial lands and stuff like that, and
But I've never worked with professional actors.
no,
I'd done a short film and worked with like theatre actors and friends and all that stuff. And
true.
but it's one of them things where you just it's like 2 + 2 = 4, but so does 3 + 1. There's so many different ways to get the same result, and you need to work out what works for you and what works for you under the circumstances you have. And our circumstances were fucked. Like we had everything against us, bro. Like COVID, budgets,
everything.
just everything.
Yeah, the most skilled crew we could probably get locally at the cost that we could get in a budget, but also mates and people we trusted that were there to assist us in any way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a mad experience creating that film, and it was local too, and it hadn't been done. Like, what independent film production company locally had gone to do that and done it in COVID and had some real big complications budget-wise, like immediate couple of weeks out, but still made it happen.
The week of,
there you go. So, fucking peaking. And it was hectic. Like, it was a mad experience, and connections were made on that film that, like, probably all be 50 and like look back on it and go, oh yeah, remember when we did Beat? Probably watch it again and then just go, what the fuck were we thinking with that? But I still watch it now and love it. But obviously, pick it apart, and it's always hard to watch things. But again, you got to take that hierarchy off your own high horse and just realize, hey, look how we made it and look how it's done. I remember when you were sending it out, and like, people were like thinking it was like a $2-3 million budget film. That just speaks wonders. It's like, no, it wasn't. It fucking wasn't. So, but give us $2-3 million, we'll do something with it.
Bloody yeah.
But yeah, no, it was. That was an epic experience, and I remember I was working on another local feature when you called me, and I had Ollie as Big Red as my AC, and I was shooting in Merriweather, and you had called me for the first time, and I walked out of the set, and I remember vividly walking out to the front yard of the house that we were shooting in, and I picked up the phone, you introduced yourself, I got off the phone, went back into set, and there was Simon. Remember Simon? Simon was on that as well. Yeah. I walk in, and I just said Dolly, and then I was like, Jye Currie, and do you know Jye? He's like, oh, yeah. And one thing I was like is the cunt legit? Like, yeah, like, why is that? And I didn't give off too much. I was like, but he's just spoke to me about a thing, and Ollie just said, yeah, you know, I told Jye about you, and you should have a chat and stuff. And I remember, in all honesty, I remember telling your old man this, probably when I was maggot at the after party.
I think you told me too.
And I remember there was a time when I was like, it ain't going to happen. Like, it's just too ambitious, and every time you're calling me, it's getting pushed back with dates and stuff like that. And then there was one part, I can't even remember, we might have been in March or sometime in the month, and you called and you're like, yeah, it's happening, we're doing it now. It's like, oh, fuck, yeah, it's happening, all righto. And that's where my belief in everything changed, because I didn't know you personally. I'd never met you. I didn't know where your passion lies and your talents and stuff. So, and we were also investing our own, not money, but our own time and knowledge into it. And back to my ethos is I wanted to be connected and make sure I was doing it for the right reasons. And yeah, it was hectic. And I just remember, ever since then, whenever people say, what's Currie like? I said, fucking ambitious, but gets it done. Yeah. So, it doesn't matter, and done in a good ethical way too. People can get shit done dirty. Yeah. The industry's fucked.
Oh, what about the article that's going around at the moment?
Yeah, fully. Fucking. Yeah. See, things like that. That just, you know, I think people always know that too. I've had personal experiences where I've done things, and at the back of my mind I've gone, that ain't coming my way, or that's not for me or anything. I've just benefited the big man, and they're doing it in a dirty way. But I just stay hush hush and move through my own motions and make sure that whatever I'm connecting with now, moving forward, I can see it. And also too, like, if you take experiences in anything in life, if you get fucked over or you get anything by anyone, you don't have to go back and hit them hard. You just now know, for example, you get fucked over by a dickhead, and you now know a dickhead when a dickhead's in the room, and that's the best thing you can take from it, rather than suing the cunt or anything like that. Yeah. So, you do it your own way. So, I don't know.
I think a big thing too is the industry's small. As big as it is, it's small. I've had conversations with distributors who, they know I'm from Newcastle. I don't even know why they didn't connect the dots, but they're telling me about how much a film's made and not even thinking that I know who made it and I know all the crew on it and everything. And then I'm hearing the people that made it talk about numbers and they're way out, and I know who's telling the truth. And it's like people are going to find out. There's no point in lying about these things.
It's I don't know. It's weird. And that's a lot of industries, I'd assume. Like, people, try and make out things more than they are in life. That's also a good salesman. Is also that. And that's not to say, fucking oath, give little white lies and do what you need to get by, but don't fuck people over. Yep. What's the point? Yeah. And it's always going to come back and bite you in the ass. I've had things happen in my life where I've been fucked over, and I've maybe also fucked other people over by accident or with not intentions, or maybe it was an old style of Bailey. But yeah, I've changed. Yeah. I'm here. Yeah. I'm enjoying it. I love what we do too. It's in Newcastle. Like, I haven't been here my whole life. I've only been here for fuck knows how long. But I'm not a full Novocastrian.
We've got everything here to really just Newcastle. So many creatives. Infrastructure's there. There's hopefully the council's coming through with more grants and creating them opportunities for people. But we've showed it now twice with 2 films back to back.
I think people just got to wake up now.
And the music scene, that you don't have to piss off to Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane. I know obviously there's massive films getting shot there and they've got the big infrastructure and all that stuff, but you can do it here. You can start and get it done now.
Definitely. People just, once they start to realise that and also see a value in what we do too. A lot of people don't see a value in it. But how can you not see a value in your life? I remember fucking hearing this like Dr. Carl or someone, but like in your life, I think it's like over 60 or something percent, and I could be totally wrong, in your life you listen to music. So why wouldn't you have attention to it? When you go home and you're fucking sitting on your ass watching a TV, someone's gone and made that. So don't say there's no value in it. What did everyone do during COVID? They watch shit. There's value in that. So don't say there's no fucking value in the creative and art scene, because I can tell you now, if we pulled it away from you, it would be a dire shit world. It already is a fucked world. If we pull the arts and the good things that are good in the world, and also too, when you look at it, when anything fucked happens in the world, especially music, the music scene steps up and fixes it. But the art scene rallies together and just fucking makes shit happen because they've got influence and power. And the only reason they got influence and power is because it's real. And yeah. But back to what I was saying is, in terms of Newcastle, people just need to see the value in it. And also people need to stop coming out of uni and TAFE and fucking doing jobs for $100 to $200 and just butchering the industry locally here. It's already so saturated.
Yeah.
It is such a saturated industry. We're in a small town, and I'm not even just, we still need to fulfill our bills to be able to go pursue these bigger projects. And I don't know what's getting taught and lectured at the moment, but there are people coming out that are talented, but they might be running the wrong practices and stuff, but they're also butchering the industry and undercutting themselves, and what that does is undercut everyone else, and it makes it so hard, and then people don't see the value in what we do.
I think just from the people that I know that do that, what it is they're stepping into an industry where it's established. There's already established creatives, professionals, people that are in their 60s working in the industry and had long careers in it. And they've already got all these relationships with people. So how does someone new come along and start this? And I think their approach, I could be completely wrong, this is just what I'm looking at, and I know some people that have openly told me this. They said, if I come in a bit cheaper, someone might save the money, give me a shot, and I might slowly get work from it. But I don't think they've realised what that's doing to everyone else and themselves long term.
Massive. Like, you look at other industries, like hotel groups are hard because it's different. You look at cars and everything. They all move together. They literally do. And there's ways to start. You're just underselling yourself. You really capping yourself, because if you're going to do something for $10 and the next time you go do it, you're asking for $50 and they're like, hang on, you just did it for $10. Oh yeah, but it's like, no, fuck no. You did it for $10. It's the same product. Yeah, but I was starting out. It's like, it doesn't matter. Start out in other ways, I believe. And that's not to say, like, you can start out by just attaching and shadowing and mentoring and getting advice and stuff like that. You don't go in and undersell yourself and undersell the community, and you're just really going to ruin the value. And I think that's the experience people studying and that need to understand. And it is, you same way your films are getting made. You're not undercutting it. You're going out and getting what you need to be made, and you're getting it done your own way by going to connect and do it that. Our industry is heavily all about who you know as well. Like, it's massively, but it's also, if you don't know anyone, you go make it happen yourself. Look at your features and look at the act. Yeah. So there are ways to do it. I think
more what we're talking about, that is more in like the commercial space.
Massively.
Because if you look at films, it's different.
And I guess that's what I was saying is, like, we still need that commercial space to survive, to be able to do things like the act and features and that. And it's a massive important part that sustains the industry and sustains the culture locally, because next time you need an AC, that AC might have gone on a full-time job now and you can't get that AC anymore. And that person might be vital to your production. And that's because, they're struggling with their own work in the community because it's oversaturated and it's undersold and there's just no value in it. So, but yeah, I am speaking more about that commercial scene. I think the other scene's totally fucking different. Yeah, definitely.
And I think it's one of them things too. Like, I know when I went to uni, the handful of people that I know that are making movies with us. Yeah. Like, I haven't heard of any other names getting thrown around. I haven't heard of many people that I went to uni with directing films. Yeah. A lot of them just go into production houses, get in the commercial space, and go down them paths, which is great.
What is your take on? This is me being honest, because I've never studied. I've got a lot of peers in the industry that have, and I believe, yes, it does benefit networks and that. But when I'm not talking about film school either. I'm talking about the other ventures of it. What is your take on it?
For me, I'd done a communication degree and then I'd done an honours, so it's not film school at all. And I haven't even made a resume. I finished uni, was working for myself through uni, and then started Green Frog, my own company. So I don't work for anyone. So for me, it's completely different. For me, I didn't really. The biggest thing I probably got out of it was focus. So to be able to sit down and do a 5,000 word essay and just keep my focus on it. When I started uni, it was like my weekly readings. I'd get to the end of page 1 and I'd be out doing something else. I'd just blank out. I just couldn't focus on that one thing at a period of time. And at the end, it was like I trained that. And now I can sit down and write 50 pages in a script in a weekend and just stay at it. And I feel like I got that discipline from uni. But in terms of like day-to-day skills or practice, like I don't use anything. A lot, like all the theories and everything they teach, I don't use. If I was like a journalist, I would use heaps of it for sure. So I think it depends on the person. But I also think now, like everything you want to learn, you can really get from YouTube. It might sound bizarre, but like, and it's specific. Like I don't have to do 10 hours of study to pull out that 1 5-minute thing I actually needed. If I'm like on Premiere and I'm editing a project and there's one specific thing I want to do in the edit, I can just YouTube that, apply it, remember it for next time, sweet. I don't have to sit and do like even like a 20-hour course on how to edit films and stuff. You just go and you just learn exactly what you needed when you needed. And you can just... It's just there.
I also get, and this is not to say I'm right or wrong either, but like I know people that are studying and stuff and then they come tell me, oh yeah, this, that. I was like, who the fuck taught you that?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this person. It's like, well... I was like, that is, I don't know, totally. And shout out to someone locally that I, connected with, and I was working at the Cambo and I was fucking filming Tash Sultan, and I'm there with my camera, and this fucking big ass ranger walks up to me, Danksy, and he walks up to me and he introduces himself and he's like, hey man, what's that? There's that black magic, yada yada yada, and we introduce, and then 2 weeks later I'm sitting at the Ori Hotel and we're having a beer, and he's in his first year of uni. And he wants to do a short film, and he asked me to shoot it because he's invested in it. And I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go do it. And I remember stepping onto that and like chatting to the uni students and stuff. And some of them were doing their honours, some of them were leaving their last year, and none of them had been on a set before.
But the thing with you compared to them is the things you're learning are the things you're doing. You're doing
That's
it.
what I'm trying, yeah.
So the thing with uni is it's all good. They're teaching them all these things and they're following the curriculum. But when you really think about it, half of the people teaching it haven't even done it themselves.
That's why they're there.
And they're kind of like ad-libbing. So it would be like, if they've got to teach 1, 2, 3, 4, they'll teach 1, 2, 4, 3. And they'll just kind of they're doing it in their own way that they think it's going to be the case. But it's like what you were saying before about being on set and getting coverage. And why are you getting that? Because we know this shot goes to this shot. We don't need the shit in between. It's just getting straight to what you actually need. Cool. And a lot of them don't realise them ins and outs, or I need coverage here and I don't need coverage there, and because they haven't done it.
Yeah, definitely. I remember with that first one, I think Danksy came to me. We shot it in here. Holy fuck, we shot it in this room.
Did you?
No word of a lie. That is insane. We shot it in this room. The walls were white and it was an interrogation scene, and Danksy had trialled something. Anyway, bouncing a lot. I remember them coming up to me, or like not me or Danksy or whatever. I can't remember vividly, but like they didn't like the lighting. And it's lit like this with fucking negative and that. And they're like, oh, you need more fill. And it's like, what the fuck? Oh, the law is you need more fill and all thirds. And it's like, fuck that. This is how it's done. It's an interrogation scene. Understand the story. He's talking about a murder and we need to hide his face. That's why it's fucking dark. So, but yeah, I went on a mad tangent there. But I do. I'm a big believer in that, unis and that, yes, network you and maybe give you skills to go better in the industry. But I think there also has been now. Like not saying the film industry and film schools like afters and shit like that, fucking no, they're mad connected and they're very beneficial because you're working in the space with the industry professionals who have probably just come off a feature and now they're lecturing for a month and going back. Yep. These people aren't here for 4 or 5 years. Yeah, I don't know even where I was getting with that.
Yeah, well, even like for me, there's I have no idea what afters teach,
Yep.
but
Neither.
no one could have taught me how to. You've got your script all good. How do you get that to where day one?
Mm-hmm.
The gap in between funding it, working with some of these agencies to get casting, finding crew, these day-to-day practical things no one teaches you how to do. When you finish a film, I think it's something like 8 out of 10 films don't get distributed. There's no course on, I've got a film, it's done, I'm so happy with it. Now, how do I get that to audience? How do I get that on Netflix?
Mm.
Like, that's the big thing that, like, I've just had to figure out on my own.
Yeah.
And so many people do. And I think, like, just general networks are good because all them people, you know, might have a contact at Netflix and can do all this and that. But you're not going to get taught that in the curriculum.
No, you're right. Yeah, you are right. And I suppose in any industries, it's all about you're going to learn the most when you're there live on the day, live in the practicality of it, and you're there dealing with emotions and people and fucking stress and everything like that. And that's where it really comes forward with it. So. Because Newcastle's a cool town, dude. It is. We're close to Sydney. We're close to the capitals. We've got enough here, and there's enough talent. That's not to say we need to make shit here. We can go elsewhere and bring it back here.
Yeah,
is what I'm more thinking. And exciting shit too.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like why? If you weren't doing this, here's a gnarly question. If you weren't doing this, and not like, what would you do? What would you be doing if you weren't doing what you're doing right
like
now?
in terms of films.
Yeah, like I don't mean even in this industry. Like, what else would you do?
Don't know.
Yeah.
I went through a massive time in my life where I thought about this and questioned this every day, and I was like getting so down, and I didn't know what to do, and I lacked meaning. I lacked meaning in my life, and I spent so much time analyzing myself, my thoughts, the things I enjoy doing, and I just kept coming back to traveling and photos and videos, just general media. While I was traveling, I'd pick up a camera and I'd go sit with someone on the street and just talk to them, hear their story, want to sit down and take their portrait. And I just loved that engagement of storytelling, and it was through photos, and then eventually that turned into short films and kept evolving. And like I said, I'm always analysing it and thinking about it, but it was just, I just want to see the world and experience as much as I can, and I want to hear people's stories and tell my own story, and they just kind of just formed into one. We're telling these stories, we're telling films. We've done 2 films, we've got 3 in production next year, and we're buying international films and telling them as well. It just kept evolving. So I really don't know. I think I'd probably just go backpack and just try to just get by. I'd work in hostels. You wouldn't know where I was. I'd be somewhere in the world just living for the moment.
Which is an exciting way.
Yeah.
It is. It is very.
What about you?
What would I be doing? I
Music.
always had I'm not a muso myself, but I'm really deeply connected in it. That's how I started in the industry, with music, and then I got out of it because there was no money, and now I'm slowly trying to come back into it. But I'd probably do something with music in some capacity, or architecture.
Really?
Yeah, fully. Yeah, I remember like growing up, getting Lego and going to Nana and Pop's house and just drawing shit on paper and then going to build it. And I was really obsessed with architecture and the building industry, and that was probably an influence from my pop. But I'd probably be doing something like that, yeah, or music, yeah, in whatever way. Like, music's fucking epic. I'm not a muso myself, but it's just, that's where the feeling is. Everyone listens to it. It's universal. Nothing that can change it. So, how did you get into it though? Like, what? When did you realize that it could be a career and you could continue doing what you're doing now?
To me, at the start, like, I've always been in 2 frames of mind. Being a director was like being an astronaut. It just felt so far away. Like, who the hell gets to go to the moon? Like, it feels like such a rare thing. And in the other breath, I'm like, I know if I want to put my mind to anything, I'll achieve it. Like, I'm the most confident person when it comes to what I'll be able to do. And that's just my own self-belief. I don't put it out too much because I don't want to come off cocky or whatever, but I'm just super confident. I know, like, I can do anything. And taking photos and having success with, like, photography exhibitions and winning heaps of, like, awards and traveling, taking photos, that was all great. doing a short film, and it won some international awards. And I just kind of went, I can do this. And not even that I was thinking about it as like, I'm going to make a career and try to make a living from this. I'm just like, I'm going to direct a film. I'm going to direct a feature film. And it was that moment. I'm just like, I'm not going to wait for someone to give me that shot. I'm going to kind of create it my own. I'm going to write the script. I'm going to cast. I'm just going to keep moving, and it's just going to happen. And it was kind of like, I think that's my version of like fake it till you make it. Like I was moving in ways that it was already funded, it was already done, and like we were chatting to investors who pulled out, and they were kind of saying yes. And at the time, it was going that way, and I was having conversations with all the big agencies that were handling casting, and we were getting their actors and crew, and we were locking in locations, and there wasn't any money in the bank yet. And we had the investors that were saying they're going to do it, which later pulled out. We had to find other ways to do that. But it was just moving in the way that it was definite. It was just definite. And there wasn't any sliver of doubt, or I'd never went to bed at night worried going, this isn't going to happen or this is going to fall apart. I just knew that even no matter if we come into a situation where things were just horrible and it looks like everything's falling apart, I know if I just sit down and really look at what we're going through, I'll figure it out. I'll find an answer somewhere that will get us to the other side of it. And I just had trust in that the whole time, and I do all the time with moving through every single thing in my life. I know that when it really comes to it, if things are falling apart, horrible, I'll figure something out to get through that moment. I think there's everything in life for you if you just search for it or ask for it.
Bang on. No cunt knows why we're here anyway. And if they do, cool, good on them. But yeah, that's the best part of life. That's a cool. No, definitely, that's epic, dude. Definitely. So
Yeah.
it is, yeah. We're very lucky in what we get to do, I feel. And actually, yeah, we're lucky that it's a career, is what I get to say. Yeah. It's, when you do something cool and people, lucky you're doing that. It's like, yeah, we've been slaving our ass for 10 years and it's not really luck. It's been happening for years and it's just happening now.
The harder we work, the luckier we get.
It's more lucky we just get to call it a job. Not lucky we're doing it, because it can be hard work.
Yeah.
Mad hard work.
It is. And that's a big thing that I want to push for this next doc is I want to really showcase, like we're going to have the full behind the scenes documentary filming the making of it, but just highlight how much goes into it and show all the bits that don't get seen. Traveling on around the world, risking our lives, these different parts of the world, all the work that goes involved, who's doing what. That's what makes it. Everyone gets to sit at home and on their lounge, comfortable, turn on Netflix, watch it. Or go to the cinemas and pay $12 for a ticket, $20, I don't know how much they are, and sit down and watch it. And and even when you look at Hollywood films, you're like, $20 for a ticket. And it's like, this cost them $200 million to make, and there's hundreds of crew on this, and hours of just work and sleepless nights, and people are emotionally breaking down, and all the effort for $20. That's a bargain.
It comes down to the value.
Bloody hell.
Just not getting the value.
No, and people be like, I don't know if I've got an hour to watch it. You don't but you'll doom scroll, you waste that hour doing something else. There's a story in there that you could really. Hopefully it's engaging. Hopefully it's inspirational. Hopefully you can grab something and pull it into your own life. But as humans, I feel like we've always sat around fires and told stories, and that's all it is. That's all music is. It's just a form of a story. Someone's singing a story. We're just documenting the stories. We're telling stories through film. It's just a different medium.
I also think we're in a time too where it's going to get hard. With all the technology that's coming around. It is going to get hard, and people's jobs are going to be less and less, and things are going to get easier to be made, and people are not going to see the value in it even more and more and more because a fucking computer can do it or something like that. But I think, a big part is establishing the value and establishing the connections of people understanding of, that's what I meant. You know how, and I'm not to compare this at all, you know how people go on strikes for a day?
Yeah.
Imagine if the fucking creative arts industry went on strikes for a month. We don't release anything for a month and just let people sit there on their ass and get bored and go, there's nothing new on Netflix, or there's nothing new on this. It's like, yeah, because there's fucking no value in it and we're struggling to make it, and you're whinging about a $25 fucking movie ticket.
Do you think social media is ruining that? Because people can still, but even love YouTube, but people can just create stuff off their phone and put it up. And that's enough still to entertain people now.
Oh, you're right. But even my whole growing up, I grew up on YouTube. I was always entertained in that. I do strongly think the streaming services had a mad impact on everything because, again, the value's gone. You're getting 2,000 movies for $9.99. It's crazy. Like the value's gone, and the value goes when there's oversaturation. The reason why old cars are so unique and amazing is because they're not around anymore, and they're unique and they're not saturated. And the minute you saturate something, those old cars are gonna lose their value. And that's just like anything in the world. So the moment we start to oversaturate things too much, it loses value and we lose touch in while we're doing it. And that's simply our industry.
So how do we change it?
How do we change it? I really don't know because I'm not in it that. I haven't been in it that long enough, and I'm not in that scene. But how I would see it is like
support the arts. Go to these events.
Yeah,
go to the cinemas.
Yeah, go to these events. Go to these cinemas. Go do those things. But also, just realize what your life would be like if it wasn't in that. There, you're driving to work. You're singing. Everything you see in the world is done by some form of design. When you drive to work, you've just watched, without even knowing it, you've probably just looked at 30 cunts graphic design work. The dude who's doing the road signs. It's all creative. It's all some sort of mindset that goes into it and stuff like that. So I think the way to sustain it and keep it without getting taken over and see a value in it is understand how it's created and understand the relationships and the experiences that it does for people. Understand the value that it is and the value that it creates around the world through music, through art, through film, through everything. And also in the industry as yourself, like start to really think about how can you longevity yourself in this career because it is changing. And how I see that is multidisciplinary.
Yeah. But I also think like for you and me specifically, like we would be like more the last ones to kind of go.
Definitely. And that's a shit thing to think though. But then what's going to happen is everyone else is starting. I'm already in conversations with editors that are like, oh, I need to start shooting because AI ain't going to be able to pick up a camera and do a doco or reality TV, but they might be able to cut. They're already cutting.
Yeah, they are.
So then what happens is those roles get more saturated is what I mean. And we're also in an industry too where we don't need to retire when we're 60, not like a builder.
Yeah, and so, I don't want to.
No, but what I'm saying is that there's an older generation that don't, not in their own way, it's just the way the industry is. There's not space always for newcomers because it's not like, oh, it's too physical work. I'm not. You can look at Deeks, killing it on your Rudge. So and just making the most incredible shit and probably sitting behind there and just doing his thing. Yeah. And what a dream, what an absolute dream. So yeah, I don't know. Back to answering your question, I don't know how we change it. I think we just see more value and we give connection where we give it and just like everything, everyone's in the world's wildly cooked at the moment, and everyone's beating their chest because help's needed everywhere. Maybe we just need to be a bit selfish and think about ourselves for a while, and everyone, and in good ways, and then you might see value in yourself again, and then you'll be able to give value elsewhere, in ways. So I don't know, dude. I can hear that.
We're all figuring it out.
Yeah, we're all just figuring it out as we go.
That's it.
So yeah, and that's the best part about it. So. Thanks, dude.
Thank you. Well, we'll keep creating. We're going to keep making movies.
Definitely.
You're going to keep rolling out the act?
Yeah, definitely. Keep rolling out the act. Do a few of those. Make some movies. Stay in Newey for as long as we can.
Bloody oath.
Newey just needs to rally and we'll make it happen.
Love it.
Fucking oath, dude.
Awesome. Cheers, brother.
Nah, epic.